listened to the podcast before, you've definitely heard us talk about them. They are our go-to team for money questions and also getting approved for financing. Not only do they help us, but they help many others that listen to the podcast get approved for financing. It's an application-only financing up to $250,000 on approved credit. They have fast approvals and you can save cash with no money down. At the very least, just give them a call, see what you can get approved for, and then check your rates. A couple ways you can reach out to them. You can give their office a call. It's at 701-476-0221. Just make sure to mention that the Dirtbag sent you, and they'll definitely help you out. And then you can also email them, sales@kineticlease.com. We also have all of their information on the Dirtbags podcast website. So go check them out, tell them we sent you, and let's get into it.
Did you see what Luke's got on? He's got on James's shirt there.
That I didn't get. Yeah, I saw that. I mentioned it already.
Let's kick off this episode thanking our main sponsor, Innovative Lawn and Landscape. James Doyle, thank you for sponsoring the podcast. Thank you for sending us unlimited sweatshirts, hats, socks, undies. We just appreciate it, man, and we appreciate all the support.
Yeah, checks in the mail, I hope, too, James.
Nice. Good job.
Welcome to the Douchebag Podcast, guys. That's kind of a late intro, but we've got the Blowjob Boys here with us today. We've got Catch These Hands Steve and Jeremy. How are you guys doing?
You got two Jeremys.
Doing great. Doing great.
Two Jeremys.
No, welcome. Thank you guys for the time. Obviously the Snow Jobs Podcast, you guys are killing it. You guys are rocking it, having a good time. I want to kind of just dive into that right away. What made you guys want to start that?
Take it, Jeremy.
I'll start it. Yeah, I know we always have our big phone call, on our snow pushes, all the guys talking and stuff. And Steve's like, "Yeah, you guys should record this and put it out or whatever." We're like, "Well, that ain't gonna make air. I can guarantee you that." So stuff that we say on there. So I'm like, told Steve one day, I just called him. I go, "We should just do a podcast. Just talk snow and see what happens." I mean, just two guys sit around, talk, just BS. That's what we do anyway. We call each other every day and just talk about snow and shit. So we're like, "Oh, we should try this podcast thing out." Obvious, I don't know. It's kind of rolled from there. What do you think, Steve? That kind of how it went?
I don't remember it exactly being your idea, but yeah.
Oh fuck!
I actually think it was Ben. Honestly, I think it was us breaking each other's balls on the Glacier chat there, and I think Ben or I don't know if it was Ben or Jackie Chan was like, "I would pay to hear you guys go at it like this," and like, we should do a podcast.
I could see those two just fucking throwing shit at you guys, throwing some shade.
It was a lot of fun.
Or of course, Helicopters probably stirring the pot like he normally does, and Jackie Chan.
Oh, yeah. I think it was along those lines though, where the Glacier chat is so off the hook and just so much fun to listen to and be a part of. Even like for me being an outsider, I didn't know 90% of the guys in that chat, but listening to them, they're just hysterical. And I think when we started talking, we're like, we could do the same thing on a podcast. Like, wouldn't that be great if everybody could hear this? Maybe a little watered down, cleaner version of the Glacier chat, but yeah, and then we just we know nothing about doing a podcast. Like, we had to get outside help, and a friend of mine helped set us up with the platform. And I don't know, the first episode I thought was awful. Thank God for James Doyle, he could talk.
That's okay.
We were nervous, and but yeah, it just got easier and easier as we went on, and the snow community just jumped on board right away. Like, the outpouring of support was crazy.
I feel like the snow community, I don't want to call like a cult, but I feel like everybody is very tight knit. And like Jeremy and I were kind of talking today, everybody pushes snow the same way, right? You use the same equipment, it's the same tactics. Obviously, some people are better at it than others. Jeremy, we see that in our area, but it's done the same way, which is really cool because you can relate to how, people do parking lots or people do sidewalks. And, so I feel like the outpouring of like response to that is super cool as well.
I think you nailed it. I think cult is a great word for it because we're all lunatics to be doing this. Snow is not an easy business.
Mm-mm.
It's
No.
like Jeremy said it multiple times. Like, it's thankless. Nobody ever sees you doing it because, like our slogan says, we own the night. Nobody ever sees you coming and going, and they just it's like the snow fairies. They come and take care of it, and nobody ever sees what you do, and you're up all night away from your families, and it's definitely not an easy business. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong all the time. It's
What drew you to the snow business, both of you guys? What was the appeal?
Jeremy.
No, it's the equipment. I, was young. I love watching. Honestly, I just was driving around one day and I was like, saw guys move the snow. I'm like I could do that. Looks like fun. Looks like something I'd want to do. I love running equipment. So I was like, shit. So I looked in. I don't know. I just called a couple of people. And I said, hey, you need some help, and that's how it started. I think I started pushing on Skidster, and away I went. So yeah, it's just equipment, and running hard. That's what I do.
Yeah, you do. Steve, how'd you get
Uh,
in?
I always loved plowing. I remember, I think I was like
Same.
7 or 8 years old. My grandfather let me take the wheel of the plow truck that he was plowing, and I loved it ever since. So I started 17 years old, I think, plowing for a company, and I plowed for maybe 1 or 2 companies, and it was good because one was a smaller company, one was a bigger company, and they did very different sites. One did industrial complexes, and the other one was like small strip malls and stuff. But you got to think about it, and I'm sure everybody's been there, where you sit there and say, well, if this was my show, I would do this a little differently. I wouldn't do this. I like how they do this, but I don't like how they do that. And you pick up stuff along the way, and yeah, I always wanted to do snow, so that's what I concentrated on. And I kind of do the green industry stuff, basically just to get the snow.
Mhm.
I could care if I ever mow another lawn or install another bush ever again.
It's
It
all about the snow.
it's interesting you say that, Steve, because I feel like for some people it's the other way around where they want to get out of snow. Do you think it's, I feel like the snow industry is one of those where if you're not ingrained in it, it sucks, right? If you don't have like enough snow to keep yourself busy and to make some money. So do you think it depends on obviously where you live in the country because some areas are different?
Sure, you're geographically, you're definitely geographically dependent on for the weather, but you also, no matter how much or how little snow you get, you have to love it to be able to go out and do it. If you dread going out plowing and you're dreading that next snowfall coming, you're not going to be good at it. And you're not going to do well. I mean,
No.
I think you got to love it, Jeremy. Right? I mean, would you agree
Yeah,
with
I
that?
agree. Definitely.
43
Yeah.
pushes last year, 43 pushes. You gotta
Yeah.
freaking love that shit. That is
Yeah.
it's
You
not
gotta
easy.
love it. You gotta love it, and you gotta want to do it, and you gotta be able to sacrifice a lot to do it. I mean, holidays, nights, weekends, whatever. I mean, it's. I mean, I always tell the guys, they're like, I wish it would snow there. I'm like, yeah, I wish I could make it snow on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I can't. It's gonna probably snow every weekend, and you're gonna be working, just the way it is. I mean, I think it was a couple years ago. I think we worked every weekend, every single weekend. It snowed, right, Luke? You were out.
Oh, I
So
remember. No, everybody was complaining about not having breaks, and I'm like,
yeah,
sorry guys, like I'm not making it snow. Although you make it seem like it, I'm not making it snow. But no, it's definitely a very interesting business because it has so different parameters than others. Like you said, Steve, you're out when nobody else is. You're making sure that people can get into places when you can barely get into the lot in the first hand. And it's so reliant on the conditions of Mother Nature, which makes it, I think it's the challenge of like not knowing what's coming next, or the challenge of trying to like clear things faster, more efficient, and then not knowing what is upcoming with the weather. I think that's what I like about it.
How many guys do you see out there mowing lawns?
A lot.
Hundreds, thousands. Not everybody can do snow. Not
Yeah.
everybody can take certain sites and make them whole again. So it is a challenge. And I think I think no matter what size company you are, you take on sites that challenge you and that you think you can do well, and that's always the game. Trying to do it better than the next guy, or not better. I mean, I don't really
More
see.
efficient.
Yeah, more
Faster.
efficient.
Yeah.
Trying to do it more
Yeah.
efficiently than the other guy.
Efficiency is the main thing. Try to get your efficiencies up. The more efficient you are, the more you can do, and the more money you can make. You know. And I'll say I've said this over and over, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Snow removal is an emergency service, and we need to start be treated like one. I mean, we're out there in the shit. I mean, people aren't gonna get to where they want to go unless the roads are cleared, or hospitals are cleared. People get in and all. It's an emergency service, and it needs to be we need to start being paid like one. We need to get everything needs to. I don't know. Everything needs to get better, and I don't know if it's a respect thing too. Nobody cares about a snow guy. Nobody gives a shit. Only time they care about a snow guy if the lot isn't plowed, if the street isn't plowed, then all you do is hear people bitch about them. I mean, it's not like anybody comes up in the morning and goes, God damn, those guys plowed that real nice, or that parking lot is clean as can be. Those guys are great. You're not going to get that call. I mean, rarely. I mean, we'll get it once in a while, but
Not
it's
very
not
often.
not as high as the complaints will be if you don't do it. You
Yeah.
know.
And
Yeah.
it's never been harder to be in snow than since COVID, because everything's up. Everything we use to do snow is up, what, minimum 30%, and everybody's belts are getting tighter and tighter customer wise. So they're trying to pinch every penny. So the only chance you have at keeping your profit margin intact is improving your efficiencies. That's it. Because that's the only, you can't charge 30% more for the contract you've held
Right.
for 10, 15 years. They're going to find somebody else. They're going to find Chuck in a truck or one hit wonder that will do it with maybe shoddy insurance at best, and will do it for cheaper. Even if they love you, it's about dollars and cents. Business is business. They're not going to let you hold them over the fire for 30% more on a contract that was 30% less the year before. So your only chance to keep your profit margin intact is to improve your efficiency. That's
How do
it.
you two typically get paid? Is it like seasonal per push, or like does it change each year, or like how does that work?
All the above for us. I mean, we're seasonal per push per hour.
Okay.
We're everything. I mean, East Coast is a little different than us, obviously.
Yeah, and that's the other crazy thing about snow. Jeremy just hit it right on the head. Like, we have friends now through the podcast that we've met so many awesome people that are all over the snow plowing United States and Canada. The rate differences from one market to the next is incredible. There are guys in Minnesota that are getting 100 inches of snow that are charging a third of what I can charge for a skid steer. And that's the going rate, and they can't get more for it. But, in the Northeast, you're still paying for snow, because I think those big giant nor'easters that we get every so often scare people into, we want to have the equipment. We don't mind paying for it because we know we can get those 24 inches or 36 inches. They do come. But yeah, it's crazy here. It really is. We do probably 70% right now seasonal, and then 30% per push. So the seasonals,
Okay.
we strategically do the seasonals cover all of our expenses for the winter, and then probably about, for an average to 10% above average winter, it's like 20 to 25% profit off the seasonals. And then the per push is all gravy. So that 30%, if we get a good winter, then that's all gravy money. That's
I got you.
down
So
equipment, whatever.
So I'm gonna back up a couple steps here. When you guys talked about starting the podcast, I'm assuming you just figured like, let's do this. I'm sure there's gonna be some people interested. I don't even think it's been a year yet, and you just crossed 125,000 listens on the show, so it's blown up. Two questions here: did you guys think it would blow up the way it did? And second, when or did you ever set up the Snow Jobs as like a business, like an LLC or anything like that?
Right away.
Okay.
On both accounts, honestly. I mean, I think within the first week of the first episode dropping, we were like, holy shit, we got something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we set up the LLC right away, 50-50 partnership, and that's good. I trust him. He trusts me. It's all good. We live in two different states across the country from each other, but we talk multiple times a day, and it's always good times. So, we probably what twice a year we'll get to see each other, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Usually Simon and Equip.
Yeah, Simon Equip's probably gonna be our new things we got to go to every year now. So
Yep.
even though we're not there for the shows, we're there for the, to meet the guys and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Hanging out with our crew. But yeah, Luke, honestly, I think it was within the first 3 or 4 days we had feelers from, because everybody saw the Instagram blowing up, like everybody was tagging us and everything, and it was one, I don't know, mediocre at best episode. I was nervous as hell. We didn't know the platform. We didn't really know how to, edit and stuff. It was
Blammy.
yeah, it wasn't great.
not quite sure what to do with my hands, kind of moment.
Did you guys
But,
know, like when you started the podcast, that you wanted to try to make money with it? Obviously, starting the LLC, you knew there was opportunities that, could come with it. Was that kind of the intention right away, or were you like, we'll just see whatever happens?
No,
I know. I think we go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay.
We just. I mean, obviously, yeah, we would like to make money. It wasn't one of the driving forces. We were more or less, hey, we're gonna talk to guys in the industry. We want to share our stories and see how other people do stuff, and if we can make something great. I mean, obviously, yeah, we want to make something now. I mean, it takes a lot of time, as you guys know.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time and effort, but yeah. And once we started and outpouring of support we had from guys, and I mean, everybody's been great. I mean, everybody's been fucking awesome. I met so many good guys, and it's made the last year a lot of fun. So
yeah, no, it's you knew right off the bat. I would say within the first 3 episodes, you knew you were gonna be monetizing this. It was just we had products but we had rules. Like me and Jeremy talked about it when we first started. Like our goals when we first started it was to promote. Nobody promotes snow professionals. Nobody's helping us. The only people that are helping us are fellow snow pros. So that's the community, and it's a pretty tight community, and it's a pretty loyal community. So we wanted to give them an outlet to promote their companies, to do there's companies out there that will do advertisements. They're basically a magazine or something, and they'll put a company in it. The company can pay to advertise and be like a profile, episode of the magazine. We wanted to do that for snow guys. Like, use this to promote yourself. Take this episode that you're in and use it to tell your customers to give it a listen or whatever. And the other thing was, when the calls did start coming in for products and stuff, we agreed that if we didn't personally use and love a product, or we didn't know guys that we trusted that used and loved the product, they were not getting in. It only takes one bad plug to blow all your credibility in that community. They're loyal as hell, but if you're wrong, they're going to let you hear it, and they're not going to listen to you again, because we've seen that happen to a couple of internet personalities that, their credibility's kind of shot.
And it takes a dump.
So I've got one thing for you on that point, and we're navigating this as well. We're bringing on sponsors and advertisers, and I guess one question, and do you have a certain time limit that they sign, or is it kind of just like, let's run it and see how it goes? And then the second part to that would be, if they do break your trust, can you cancel that?
It is in the contract that we can get out of it. Due to, I forget how Bob wrote it. We actually have an ad sales guy, because it was, Jeremy knows I always felt like if they reached out to us, if guys were taking the time, snow pros were taking the time to reach out to us, DMing us. There was days I was answering 40, 50 DMs a day on Instagram. And you got to take the time. If they're taking the time to say, hey, love the show, thanks for doing it, blah, blah, blah. You got to take 2 minutes to, hey, how are you? Who are you? Thanks a lot for listening. And we were doing that. It got to be like, we both have other jobs, and it got to be too much. So we got put in touch with a guy, the same guy that helped us set up the platform and taught us the basics of podcasting, that has a successful podcast. He hooked us up with an ad sales guy that he does a couple podcasts for ad sales, and Bob handles all that now. So yeah, the contract he wrote up, we can get out of it if we need to. We do it quarter by quarter, but every company that has come on board, Muskox, Hilltip. So Muskox is all me. Hilltip is all Jeremy. But one of the first things I said to Adam Bergman from Muskox was, we love it. You know, I love it. I use it. I want Jeremy to see it. I want,
Right.
you know, Jeremy to experience it. And he's like, no problem. He goes, we'll drive one down there. So they brought one down to Fargo and they let the Silver Bullet get in and use it, of all people.
Yeah.
And if he couldn't break it, it can't be broken, you know? So he was impressed. He actually just bought one.
Yeah,
So,
he bought one.
So that was that was Muskox, and you know, Jeremy was like, yeah, shit for us. I still remember him calling me. He's like, it's freezing cold. This shit's frozen solid, and this thing is an animal. He's like, oh, this is great for a skid blower. And then Hill Tip was the same thing. Jeremy loved him. Jeremy knew him. So, you know, that was good enough for me. If you're impressing Jeremy Lindstrom, he's not easy to impress, and he calls shit. So, you know, like I tell
gets me in trouble. I speak the truth and people don't like it, but it's like we talked earlier. It's all black and white. It's no gray.
I tell everybody, you want to do something with a snow product that you got coming out, send one to Jeremy. He's the definition of a snow influencer. He really is. And if he likes it, it's going to sell. If he doesn't like it, that's not good for your product, because he'll tell everybody this is shit. Don't buy it.
Yeah. And that's how it should be done. Honestly, is just be honest with the product. Yeah. And, you know, if it sucks, like they need to work on it. They need to be better. So, another question that just popped up before you jump in there, in the quarterly that you do you renegotiate based on your podcast metrics and like how many listens you're doing, or is it kind of just like, let's re-up and let's just go for it?
Right now, it's just a re-enlist. I mean, I think especially like the first couple, like Muskox and Hill Tip, I mean,
just the OGs.
They've been with us. They've been ride or die since you know, episode 4 or 5. You know, they love us. They're not going anywhere, and I think I know Muskox for a fact. We've seriously helped their business. They tell us all the time.
Good.
And I don't. I feel bad, you know, even if we're doing phenomenally, they were in on the ground floor. They believed in the show before anybody else did. You know, we're not gonna up them too much.
Yeah, good for you guys. I mean, I think that's just out of respect too. And I'm sure they're, you know, in a year they're gonna say, you know, we owe you guys more money or something. And then it's like, sure, it can be a gift, but I like how you guys respect that. You know, the OGs, they're with you since episode 4. They believed in it, because it's a crazy thing, especially in this industry, to pay podcast hosts, you know, to promote them. It's insane. It's just, and it's never really been done. And so, you know, to see that you guys are doing it and doing well, and then it's just like, let's just add 100x the value your way and have a good time doing it. Like, that's the goal.
This is where marketing is now. Like, marketing is not print anymore. It's and I'm the last guy to be saying that, because I just got a friggin' iPhone like last year.
You got an Instagram like 14 months ago. He still got a flip phone.
Still got the flip.
Oh God. Steve, you just keep that with you to show people, be like, yeah, I have this thing until like
that is in my pocket. The flip is in my pocket all day. The smartphone sometimes, the iPhone is sometimes not with me.
Oh man.
The flip is always with me in my pocket.
He literally got on Instagram 14 months ago, and then he found me and I don't know, he messaged me, and then we started talking. So
you had I think you had the Snow Wing. It was either Snow Wing or Hill Tip. I messaged you about one of those, that I caught a Snow Wing in a video, or I caught a Hill Tip, and I said, oh, I got to find out how these things are. But, you know, Luke, to go back to that question you had about the products and stuff, it's more, you know, anything that's mass produced can have a bad batch of parts, can have a bad week of production or assembly. At that point, and that's literally any company. At that point, all we care about is, how did they stand behind their product? How did they make it right with the guy they affected? And if the company is in, like, I mean, you look at like Storm Equipment, Jordan, not a sponsor, but at the same time, we know how they roll. If something breaks on one of their products, and we know Metal Plus breaks, you know, they blow hoses like, you know, going out of style. But Storm makes it right. They make good on everybody. They're overnighting parts, stuff like that. My Ventrac dealer, same way. You know, that's J&R Sheds down in Maryland. Jimmy will overnight me whatever I need. He's driven. I had a snowblower that had a bad weld on it for one of the SSVs. He drove one up the next morning, 4 hours, you know, from Maryland. So, I mean, that's more important than anything else. So those are the kind of companies you want to do business with.
Yeah. You want to know something funny about Jordan is he's Mankato, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was on my
Oh yeah, he said that.
original Phaser Friday podcast probably like 2 years ago or something. So I haven't talked to him in a while since, but he's got some cool things going with obviously VSI and like because he sold to Boss, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so now I guess I've seen Storm Equipment, VSI, of course, and then Boss. Like, what is his role in those companies?
King, God, like everything he
Yeah.
touches turns to gold. He's incredibly
Yeah.
intelligent. He knows the industry.
awesome.
He networks extremely well. And even people that he's meeting for the first time, you talk to him for 10 minutes and you genuinely feel like you've made a friend.
For sure.
Like he's one of those people that he's very good at what he does business wise. He's very smart and he makes all the right moves.
He mentioned Luke. He mentioned you. We told him we were going on you guys' show, and he's like, "Yeah, I remember Luke. I was on a show or whatever with him, or a webinar or something." He said he was with you.
It was the old podcast, but no, he's always been super great to me. And yeah, like you said, Steve, I think that's such a great compliment and such a perfect way of describing him. And it's just like, he can make you feel like a friend right away if he wants to, and he can seek out those people that maybe don't feel included in the conversation. I think it's such a great skill set to have.
We had when we went to Equip there, we had the Top Gun Backblades, which is a sponsor of ours. Rob had a get together, and we invited the whole Storm crew. I swear to God, Jordan in 2.5 hours did not just stick. There were like maybe 60 people there, Jeremy, 50 maybe.
Yeah, somewhere
around there. Jordan made his way around and talked to every single person.
Yeah,
like he talked to everybody at that freaking party. So I mean, that's
he's
who
the
he
man.
is.
Yeah,
he's the man.
He's the man.
That's just the personality that you got to have to just go up to people and be like, "Hey, I'm so and so. Good to meet you. What's your name? What do you do?"
Yeah, that's not me.
I couldn't do that. There's people that I can't fucking stand.
Amen. I don't like anybody.
Yeah. I'm a crabby old 27-year-old where I'm like, if I don't know you, you better have something good to say. Otherwise, fuck you. Not actually, but there's something like that.
No, get the fuck out of my lane.
Yeah. I don't know you. I don't need to talk to you.
No, I'm
bad
the
as
same
that
way.
has to say, but fuck.
Although I will say this, the podcast has definitely changed that a little bit where like we went I went with Matt Young and his brother Jeff to Jordan was having a demo day in Pennsylvania. So he was local and he did those 3 episodes on liquids for us over the summer, which were freaking huge. And now that's a guy that gets paid to do these seminars and stuff about this. And he jumped on, love what you guys are doing. I'd love to do some episodes for you. Hell yeah. Whatever you want to do.
All right.
And he did 3 for free. So he was going to be local. I'm like, the least we can do is, I'm local to it. I'll roll to that and support him. And like, I think I was there 2 minutes and somebody recognized my voice and came right up to me. It ended up being Patrick Salmon from Massachusetts. And he was like, dude, you're one of the snow jobs. I'm like, yeah. And then
you say I am the snow jobs.
No, I am not. I am the voice, not the face. The face is the legend there, the Rick James.
The Rick James is Jeremy.
Yeah. I'm just the arm candy.
There you go.
But no, but it makes you be a little more, and I'm not like that. Like I'm like Luke said, I'm like standoffish. I'm like, I have my own little crew and basically stay the fuck away from me. But it's changed me a little bit to the point where, like I said, people are loyal as hell in the snow industry. They've been loyal to the show. You don't have a choice. Take 5 minutes, hear what they have to say, help them if they need help, if they're asking you questions, find the answers if you don't have them for them. But they're taking the time, they're following you, they're buying your merch, they're listening to that show every week. We have guys that are listening to that thing every Monday. You got to see the needle on the analytics on Monday mornings. Yeah. Like when they used to drop at 8 a.m. from 8 to 9 was like off the chart.
That's so cool. It's cool that people want to just be invested with, something that they love as well. And that kind of brings me to another question about like the snow side, about your, the business side, the operation side, loyalty. Steve, you talked about loyalty. How do you find loyal employees? Because like you said, the snow industry is not a fun industry. You're there on the weekends, you're there on the holidays, you're there when it's inconvenient because Mother Nature's a bitch and that's all she knows what to do.
So I kind of like, we talk about this a lot on the show. Like I've had a bunch of people ask me and stuff, and I'm so hesitant to tell people because it's not a setup everybody can do. I have another profession. So I have a lot of guys. I work 2 days a week, 24 hours at a time. And I have a lot of guys in that profession that also have that same schedule. And those are my go-to guys. Those are my brothers. And that's who we use. So we're all firemen. Everybody that works for me is a fireman, minus one guy. We have one young kid that graduated college and can't find a job with a 4-year degree. So, that's
Good
it. But
for
everybody else
Go
we
get
have
those
is
4-year
firemen.
degrees, guys. That's what happens.
I know.
Awesome.
Well, that's what we've said. I think you're about to start seeing some labor come back because these kids are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a 4-year degree that's worthless. It's a fucking piece of paper. They have no life skills. They have no work ethic because, like I said the other day, I can't remember what episode it was, but we were talking about labor, like you just said, and we said, they said, "What's the biggest problem?" And I said, "The problem is that this whole generation called the guy. Their parents called the guy. They never mowed the lawn. They never shoveled the driveway. They called the guy. And now they don't know how to be the guy because they never had to do it."
Never had to step up.
Yeah.
Right.
Call the guy. Well,
Yeah.
it's hard to be the guy if you've never or learn. Hard to know how to be the guy if you've never had to do it because mom and dad always called a guy.
Yeah.
So, Steve, what would you tell a person like that? Because there might be somebody sitting here and be like, I'm not the guy. How can I become the guy? Because they're not just going to be like this for the rest of their life. Like they got to figure it out at some point, right?
Here's the deal. Everybody's got the same problem. And I mean, Jeremy will agree. The number one problem is labor. I mean, that keeps Jeremy up nights. Like, I'm going to put the call out. Am I going to get every seat in every loader filled? Who knows if these guys are going to come to work or not. If you're willing to work and work hard and learn, all you got to have is the attitude. Everything else we can teach you.
Yep.
And the money's
That's it. Come in with heart and attitude, and you'll leave with a good amount of money, more than you're going to make doing other things. I'll tell you that because you get paid well for good work in these fields and dirt work and snow work
and reliability. If you're reliable, it's huge.
That takes you a long ways. No. If you can be dependable, reliable, I mean, we can train you to do anything, but you just have to show up and wanna learn. You gotta just want to learn.
Yeah.
90% is showing up.
Yeah.
Answering the phone.
Do you guys see a lot of the I know how to do this attitude where they have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and then you're like, you need to get kicked off your high horse?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jay.
I see that a lot.
Yeah. Everybody says they can run. Oh, I can run anything. Like, okay. So then I throw them in something and like,
can you
gonna do this? Are we gonna do this or what? And it's like, let's go. Show me what you got. And they're like hesitant or whatever. Like,
how do I turn it on?
Yeah. Well, this one doesn't have a key. It's a push button. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
at the farm we didn't have these. We just touched 2 wires together and it would start right up.
And I don't have a problem. And I tell everybody, I go, some of my best operators have been guys that don't know anything. You can train them from fresh, and then they don't have any bad habits or whatever, But I don't bullshit me. I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna know in the first 5 minutes if you know what the hell you're doing or not.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Jeremy, and it's go ahead.
Yeah. So on that point, would you rather hire somebody that has 20 years of experience or somebody that's 18, brand new, that like is interested in getting into the industry? Or does it like, are they both the same?
Take them both if you can.
Yeah, I'd take them both if I can. But honestly, because I don't know, because the older guy might have more experience where he can like to run a crew, be in charge or whatever. Somebody's got experience, and then the younger person you can train and he can learn from that guy. We got a pretty good base crew, and my guys, I wouldn't say that they're not hard on guys, but they're not going to fucking sugarcoat anything either. They're gonna call you out, which is I don't have a problem.
They're hard on guys. They're hard on your guys are hard on guys because this is not a roughneck generation. These younger guys are a little soft, a lot of them, So they don't know how to take ball breaking. And your guys are, some world-class ball breakers. I've heard them.
Oh, they are. They
They're really
are.
good at it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Let them go. I mean, if you can't take criticism, then you shouldn't be here. I mean,
Absolutely.
it is what it is. I mean, this is like you say, we're working the nights. Guys are get crabby. It is what it is. You either gotta, shake it off or just take a little bit of razzing or beating, or not beating, you know what I mean? Just take it. You can either take it or you can't. If you can't, it's time for you to leave. I always tell the guys, you're not having fun, it's probably time for you to leave, because this is you're hanging out with most of you guys are hanging out with your buddies. Or they become buddies and they're having a good time. So once it's not fun, it's probably time for you to move on.
And they're on that chat. That chat makes the time go by. It really does. We took that from Glacier and implemented it at all hands last year. And the guys had a blast. Like 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours went by, in the blink of an eye, because guys are doing what they do in the firehouse. They're breaking balls. They're, having good times. And it's making that monotonous work go by a lot faster. And what it also did for us was we managed to avoid like 3 machines getting hit by, cars that just don't care that you're clearing snow. They're going to come right behind you anyway.
Yeah, I feel like building that camaraderie is probably so huge for you guys, of just like making sure that, like, this is monotonous work, like you said, Steve, but we're all doing it together. Like, let's make with the time, let's make good of the time that we have currently. And so just like building that camaraderie, like building that, that culture around it is huge.
And that was all Glacier. That we got that 100% from Glacier. And they got a lot of shit figured out there in Fargo. Population 300, 295 in plow.
Yeah, I'm right.
It feels like 300 until you're pushing snow, and then everybody and their mother just had to come out.
Yeah,
13
for
Walmart.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. No, it's a battle. It's
Jeremy,
the teamwork. Go ahead.
How did you know to kind of bring that culture? Because like Steve said, that was you guys that did it. Obviously, you started that somehow. Was it just everyone was kind of just hopping on a call and you were like, hey, let's make this a thing while pushing? It seems to make the time go faster. It seems to keeps everybody's spirits up. Like, what was kind of the light bulb moment when you found that out?
I don't even honestly know who started, I guess we always call it the party call. It was, I don't know, honestly know who started it, but it just kind of, it grew from one little group to the next group. And now we all grew. It was, Verizon was bad where you could only get so many people, and then AT&T where you can only get so many. So it's like, call Jackie, call this guy, he'll get you in. And then we couldn't get people in. So the guys found, I think we're on Google Meets now. Google Meet, I think you can get up to 45 people on a call now.
Yeah.
So we all just have Google Meets, and you can go in and out and just bounce in and out whenever you want. And like you say, it's just fun to. I mean, I just pop in here and there because I got enough other shit to do. But sometimes I pop in and some crazy shit that they're talking about is unbelievable. It's like, what are you guys fucking talking about?
Yeah, sometimes you missed 10 minutes of the conversation, and you're like, "Whoa, this is not what it was 10 minutes ago."
No,
there have been times I just click off. Like I click on, I hear 5 seconds of the I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna tune in a little later. Just click back off.
Yeah, I mean, like Steve said, it's helped our efficiencies up. I mean, believe it or not, it has. I mean, and it's helped us avoid accidents, guys. I mean, it's something so simple as just talking to guys and, like you say, killing time, or not. It makes time go by faster, and it's kind of a safety thing too. I mean, a lot of people won't want to admit that, but it is. I mean, because otherwise we got to get it on 2-way, and you got to wait for the beep, then you talk. And hopefully nobody else is talking, or you're not going to get through. We've had, so this is instant. So I don't know. It works for us, and I guess it's worked for other guys now. So I'm glad we can at least bring that to the industry. I'm not saying we're the first, but it seems like everybody talks about it now. So
it's a home run. It's an absolute home run, because we're mostly we're a little different. We're mostly skids. We have a lot of skids. So you would have to take your hands off one of the controls to be able to pick up the radio to call another skid that's now got to take his hands off the controls. You do that 5 times in an hour, you're down 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes of that hour you lost just answering a radio and responding. So it's all about efficiency right now with the Blue Parrot headsets and the group call. There, you used to have to be clairvoyant. Like, where's this guy carrying the pile to? Where is he windrowing? Where do I got to pick it up? And now you can just say, hey, listen, I'm going to drop this right in front of the stop sign, and you pick it up from there and pile it. Done. These guys, they tear through HOAs. They're doing 180 driveways, 2 machines. One's carrying, one's dragging it out, blowing it, and the guy's just cleaning up behind them. But they work seamlessly because of that two-way conversation that's live.
Sounds like you guys need to start your own social media platform.
Could.
You never know
You
what we're
should.
gonna do.
Think
We
about
got a lot of things we're thinking about.
Yeah,
So
we're only
like
only
a
so many
Facebook
hours in the damn
snow.
day.
But they're video calls, and you can hop in and out. James is plowing up wherever he's at in Connecticut. Hop into his calls. Jeremy's in Fargo. Can hop into Jeremy's calls. Steve, wherever you're at, hop into your calls. I mean, that would be kind of cool.
It would be.
I'm gonna actually hop into James with another loader from here. I'm gonna control a loader from my office and run it out in James's land.
There you go. There you go. The autonomous.
Jordan's working on it.
Jordan's working on it.
Of course
That'll
he
be
is.
cool.
Of
Got a
course
lot
he
of
is.
stuff coming, dude. He's got a lot of crazy shit coming. It's great.
So
That's
as we're talking about that, like we talk a lot about, improving efficiencies in snow, and you guys have been doing these things. Like, is there anything like this year that you're kind of focused on of like improving, or does it kind of just happen with like trial and error of like something happens, try to, cut down on time or efficiencies? But like, is there anything that you're going into the year looking at of like, we can try and improve this?
well, like you say, a lot of it's trial and error, but I mean, we're getting a few bigger pushers and stuff like that. That'll help cut down some time and a couple wing claws and stuff like that. But yeah, more or less trial and error. Yeah, you're right there. What you, Steve?
Yeah, we have a lot of route work, just like Glacier does. So we rode our machines all over the town, and we're constantly tinkering as we add properties. You constantly have to tinker with what machine is doing what route, what's the most efficient way to do it, stuff like that. I am taking a page out of Jeremy's book. He rags on me all the time about my skids, but they're really efficient for what we do in our area. We have, our properties. We bang out a lot of properties with a skid and a 10-foot Arctic on it. The guys are very good with them. They're very quick. The Arctic makes you look good. I mean, I could put my 7-year-old in there, or 8 now. Sorry, 8-year-old in literally he's heavy enough to trigger the seat safety, so he can operate the machine on his own. I could put him behind an Arctic, and he's going to be looking like an all-star in half an hour once he gets used to what the scrape's supposed to look like.
Sounds like you got your detail crew, Steve.
Oh yeah, no, all my guys are having kids, so I got a couple workers.
There you go.
They're coming up.
Take one out of Durbin's book. If you can't hire you,
shout out Durbin.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old doesn't understand how much these vent tracks cost. He wants me to leave one at the house so he can do the driveway. So last year was a single stage snowblower. He didn't kill himself, didn't maim anybody, didn't take one of the shepherds out with the single stage. So this year we'll step him up a little bit. We'll maybe I don't know, we'll give him something. Maybe let him use the quad with the plow or something.
Claw pickup.
Yeah, pick up.
Steve, what is, and Jeremy too, like when a snow push comes, like what is your role? What do you do? Are you in a machine? Do you run operations? Like what do you do? Explain us through, like, as the owner, as like your top manager, what are your responsibilities?
I'm one of the boys. I'm running. You'll never get me out of a machine. I mean, it's probably not the most efficient thing, and I talk about efficiency, but I like to be in a machine. There are certain properties I like to make sure are done absolutely perfect because they're paying top dollar. And I'm one of those guys that when it comes right down to it, I know that in my heart, I know a couple of my guys can do it just as good. And they do, but I still feel like if I'm just riding around in a truck, I'm not being the most efficient use of talent in the company, because I'm one of the better operators. I'd venture to say I'm the best operator. I'm sure I'll get pushback on that, but I think that me being in a machine, as long as it doesn't affect the overall operation, me being in a machine is the best place for me and actually creates the most efficiency.
Oh yeah. Cool.
You're not going to get me out of one.
All right, you dirtbags, we're going to take a quick break to thank one of our sponsors, Lambert Insurance Services. If you know Luke and I, you know we started this podcast to provide value to the construction industry. When we went to seek out an insurance company to work with, there's not a whole lot that are specific to the industry, and we really didn't want to work with a generalist agency, so we kind of put that on the back burner. Then we got to meet Sam Lambert. Sam is a fellow dirtbag himself. He's been in the industry for a long time, but he also started his insurance company in 2008 specifically for construction companies. So when we had that conversation, we knew that this would be the perfect match. So we started working with him, and he's been incredible. He leads first. He wants to be a resource first and an insurance agency second. They can help with provide general liability, workers' comp, commercial truck insurance, insurance for equipment, and so many more different avenues that he can provide coverage for. The great part about it is, they're licensed in most states, and they always quote through multiple companies. So that's how you know you can get a competitive rate. And even better, Sam, he's the owner. He wanted to provide his cell number just so if you have any questions, specifically from the dirtbags, you can always text him, give him a call, ask to compare plans, or just ask, what his rates would be, and then he can help direct you to the right place or answer your question from there. His number is 385-204-5799, or you can reach them at their website, which is lambert-ins.com. So reach out to him if you have any insurance questions. We're very excited about this partnership. Sam is an awesome guy, and we're just excited to continue providing value for all you dirtbags. So thank you, Lambert Insurance. Give him a text, shoot him a call, let him know that you're fans of the Dirtbags podcast. All right, you dirtbags, are you tired of tedious manual data collection and costly field studies in your quarry or sand and gravel operations? Let's talk about VantagePoint, the first quarry operations software crafted to meet the high demands of modern data-driven quarrying. Seamlessly connect all of your equipment data and access the crucial information you need instantly. Be the hero of your operation by boosting efficiency, exceeding your productivity goals, and bottom line revenue with VantagePoint. Discover why 4 of the top 6 aggregate material producers in the U.S. are using VantagePoint. Visit VantagePointQuarry.com/dirt to learn more.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what do you think? You do everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love being a machine, but that's not that often anymore. I'm more or less just supervising, running around town, checking lots, and trying to keep everything moving.
Yep.
Obviously, I got a great crew now. Obviously, or not obviously, but I got a great crew where those guys know what they're doing for the most part. So I just got to check up on them and just make sure everything keeps moving throughout the night. I mean, by morning, a lot of guys got to go, and if I don't have enough guys coming in, I'll jump in the machine and I'll run a machine, and you usually catch me with a big smile on my face when machine. So I mean, I love running a machine. It just makes me happy, and I just feel like I'm not doing enough when I'm in my pickup. I mean, I know I am because I'm running the show, but it's like I'm always hands on, and you can always say I don't. If my guys are my famous saying, my guys are out, I'm out. I don't care. You've seen that, Luke. I don't. I don't. If my guys are out, I need to be out with my guys.
Yeah.
Do I have to be? No, I don't. But
You choose to be.
I choose to be because I don't know. I like being with the guys, and I might be a little trusting, but I'm not saying they do a great job. They get the job done, but it's just. It just seems like everything goes better if I'm out. If I have gone a few times, little things have slipped, and I feel like I could have corrected it. So that's I don't know.
And it's a scale thing too. I mean, Jeremy is running operations for a major operation. I'm a little guy. I consider myself a very little guy when you compare it to Glacier, who's running 40 something loaders, 100 and something pieces overall. You need a guy that just drives around and supervises. You actually probably should have multiple guys driving around and supervising, that many machines. So I think it comes down to scale. When you're a smaller company, you're 10 machines, you really have the luxury of staying in a machine if you need to, because you're not that big.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
And
go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, I think One question I've been thinking about, and Jeremy, I was just thinking about this as you were talking, like, even if you went home, you probably wouldn't sleep as well if the
No.
guys are out anyway.
Not at
But
all.
one thing I was just thinking about is, because you guys have been in snow for a long time now, and Luke and I get it all the time of people like just starting, looking to get into snow. Like, I guess, what would you say to somebody like that? How should they get started? I'm sure there's multiple avenues, but what do you guys
What are
think?
things to look for?
Yeah, what are things to look for?
I don't know if you're like a a guy, let's just say a skidster to pick up that we or something. I would see if there's some, obviously you're gonna make a little more money on your own, but if there's let's just say a company like Glacier or a bigger company area that's looking for subs, you might want to sub on for a few years and at least learn the snow business a little bit more. I mean, obviously you gotta check them out, make sure they pay you and all that good stuff. You don't want to work for free, but I would say if you can sub on for a few years and just kind of learn the game. It is snow removal. It's not. We're not doing brain surgery here. We're moving snow, but there's still a lot of things you need to, there's that you can learn from watching somebody else. I'm not saying you can't just go out on your own and do it because everybody does it every day. But if you really want to, I guess get your feet wet slowly, you could be a sub.
No.
I don't know. What do you think there, Steve?
I think it really depends on, like, for your listeners that are in the dirt world, the excavation world, I think it depends on what they want to do. Do they want to just make a little extra coin over the winter season when they got nothing going on? Or do they want to get into snow? If they want to get into full on snow removal operations, A, you got to freaking love it. And B, you got to have a bankroll. You got to have the equipment and stuff. If you're just looking to make a couple extra bucks with equipment you already have, such as, pickup trucks, throw a plow on it, I would tell them start at driveways, start at residential, find all these subdivisions that are going up that are 200 houses. They're all the same. Nobody shovels their own damn driveway anymore. Like, there's actually an app now. It's called, I think, Snow or something, that literally people can log on, put their address in, and you can, as a contractor in the area, can pick them up.
I heard about that. That's a cool idea.
Yeah,
You can get
I've heard it.
you can get $100 a driveway for a 4-inch push for a driveway that literally takes you maybe 2 passes, backblading out and pushing up. And you get 20 or 30 of them that you can do in 2 hours. I mean, that's $2 or $3 grand in your pocket for, a couple hours work with equipment you already have and are already paying bills on. So
Yeah.
I love the residential. Everybody says, oh, commercial. There was this kid at Equip that was saying, everybody drop all your residentials. Bullshit. Residentials, you can make a shit ton of money. There are guys
you can
in
make
Canada, tons, right, Jay?
You can make a shit ton in residential if you have the right setup and the right route density. You can kill it.
You need density. Yeah.
You need density, yeah. But everybody, like you say, everybody wants to go to commercial, but there's a lot of money to be made in residential if you just have the right equipment and the right route density. I mean, it's going to take a while to get that, obviously, but
if I can add 2 more quality guys and stop picking up commercial properties that are calling every day and are so cherry, like, oh, well, I mean, every year we try and only grow very small. Like, I want to take one large property, one new snow site that's large, one medium, and that's it. That's all. I just want to make sure we can bang those, knock those out of the park perfectly before we move on to something else and try and get bigger. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, because, like we talk about all the time, if you don't perform one fucking time, it's over for you in snow. Everybody's going to know about it. Nobody's going to, you want to charge top dollar for snow? You better bring it every freaking storm, every time, to the same degree, because you're not going to be able to demand those rates if you don't show up or, you don't perform. It ain't baseball. You got about 1,000 every game.
Yep.
I like the residential. If I could find 2 more quality guys and we don't pick up, if we don't get any cherry sites that are coming our way next year, I would love to throw, a truck or even some of the smaller equipment, throw them in a neighborhood, put out some mailers or something in August. If you can get 25 houses that you're in there for 2 hours with one truck or one machine and you're rolling out of there with $3 grand, well, why the hell not? Most of it's going to be cash too. You can set it up that it'll be cash. The only downside is you have a lot of bosses. You got a lot of different personalities to deal with.
Luke wasn't residential for a while.
I was hated it.
Yeah. So
The
Luke,
amount of calls I would
I
get
was,
from homeowners.
I was just gonna say, like, what are your thoughts on everything?
I think it's a smart business model. Like you guys said, it's if you have density, you can make money doing it. You've got to have the right equipment as far as efficiencies. And again, we tractors with, rear facing blowers, and you back up the driveways, drive out, and you blow the snow. Great. It works, but I think there's kind of a mass exodus, I feel like, in the residential world in Fargo.
There is
not a lot of people.
Here it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild because I
There's,
think go ahead, Jeremy.
I'd say there's a lot of money to be made if you did it right in this town, because
Did it
there's
right,
like
yeah.
nobody does it. Nobody wants to do it because because it's a pain in the ass.
Everybody wants the driveways, is what I see. I'll people will do the driveways, but nobody wants to shovel because they can't find the labor force for it. So that's becoming a huge issue, I feel like, in the snow world. But I mean, it's a great business model. You just have to have the right systems in place as far as like taking the calls, for the callbacks if something's missed, because you miss a fucking sliver that's like this in Lisa Ann's driveway, and you're getting a call, and they're like, you better get here right now and fix this. I can't get out of my driveway. And it's like, fuck off. No, I'm not going to do that. Well, you would go do that, but in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
But no, I residential was great. I didn't like dealing with the people. Simply why I'm still stuck.
That's the downside. You got a lot of bosses. You got a lot of, in the Northeast here, New York especially, you got a lot of Karens. It is a problem, but at the same time, I mean, if you're personable and you can 90% of the time, like we said, you're coming when they're asleep. So I mean, you're there, clear it, it's done. But you can't find anybody around here that's still doing driveways.
Really?
Like I just looked. There's 34 calls that we're trying to find people, because we always try, if they call us and we're not going to do it, or we don't do something, we'll always try as a business. We'll try and steer you towards somebody that does. We always want to take the extra step because people remember that.
Yeah.
It's just good business. So we can't find anybody to take driveways.
Wow.
Nobody's doing driveways here anymore.
Why don't you take them then, Steve?
I don't have the production time, honestly, in our route. I just don't have it. And most people here are not going to wait till 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, after a snow, to be able to, they want to be out of their driveway so they can get to work. So, unfortunately, the commercials that are paying top dollar, they all need to be open at the same exact time. So who's gonna, I'd love to take 30 driveways that I could bang out, but at the same time, you got to find a guy you can put in that truck with that back blade, or whatever machine you're using there, and you got to bang them out. But it can't be at the expense of your money makers, your tier one properties.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, Steve, do you guys have a lot of heated driveways out in your area? I know in southern Minnesota there's quite
very
a few, but
no, very few, if any. I mean, the ground doesn't freeze here, honestly. True. I think the last 2 winters, last winter, I know we didn't have frozen pavement one time, not once all year. Like if you look at some of the videos I've put up for all hands, you're pushing with the Arctic and it's black pavement. We didn't even have to salt after it.
Do you guys get a lot of like accumulated snow that like sticks to the, not so much the pavement surfaces, but like your green space surfaces, or is it snow?
Oh no, we get snow on the blacktop, but like we had that one big storm in March, and it had everything stacked against it from being big, because it was March 17th or 16th. It was 36 degrees. I think it was 40 the day before.
Concrete snow. Here we go.
But, like literally, you had probably 4 inches to 5 inches on the grass before it started to accumulate on the pavement. Really? So when it was done, you had 16, 17 inches on the grass, but you only had maybe 8 inches to plow off on the pavement.
Got it. Okay.
So it does accumulate, but we had such a warm winter last year. I think we had 10 inches of rain in January and the first half of February.
Wow.
How many times did you push last year?
I think 12 total, but like 9 of them were in a 3 week period of late February, early March. That was basically it. I think we pushed 3 times from November all the way to February.
Wow.
End of February.
What do you do to prepare yourself for those slower winters?
relax. Honestly, I mean, honestly, we're getting paid. That's the benefit of seasonals. We're getting paid whether it snows or not. You know, we put the only thing I was worried about was the floors getting hit in the seasonal contracts. Like we put floors and ceilings in there to keep it fair for the customers.
Right.
Everybody that does snow that you would call in your area like a tier 1 snow company, we're all going to be high priced. And hopefully we're all within the same price range. You got to do stuff to separate you, whether it's your presentation, whether it's your proposal packet. For me, it's all of the above. And I also will do a floor and a ceiling, and nobody around here does that. Yeah. But my argument for that, like everybody says, why would you ever give money back? You're an idiot. Nobody fucking does that. Why would you do that? My argument is how we do it is if our 5-year average for snow is like 40 inches. So if we get less than 20, so if we get 19 inches, we're giving them 10% of their seasonal contract back, but they can roll it into next year's, contract price. Yeah. So we're still getting the money basically anyway. But even if I have to give it back and they don't renew with us the last year, I know that if I only got 19 inches, I based my seasonal price on 45 inches. So they were paying for 45 inches. So they were paying for 45 inches worth of pushes. So that works out to maybe 15 for us. If I'm only pushing 6 times, my costs for doing that, my salt, my labor, my fuel, all my time, those costs are astronomically lower. So giving back 10%, my profit margin is still well intact. Yeah. But the gesture to the customer, that's loyalty you can't put a price on. They're never leaving you after that.
Do you see really good feedback if that has happened?
100%. And we've never given a penny back, but they love because we've never had to. For us to get less than 19 inches is unheard of.
Yeah. Right.
We're like 3 years ago, we had 92 inches. I mean, it's the deviation is a lot, but it generally doesn't deviate below a certain point. Like a bad winter.
You were worried last year. You were worried last year for a while.
I was cursing the weather pros. I was cursing Rob, but he just kept saying, stay the course. I'm telling you, the end of the last half of February and March is going to be 90% of your snow. I'm like, you fucking better be, dude, because I got 9 freaking inches going into February 28th.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we ended up with 39 inches for the year. So we got 30 inches in, 2.5 weeks. Yeah. So I was shitting my pants a little bit. But like I said, even if I was giving money back, I still made my money. My guys we were idle for almost 2 months. Mm-hmm. We had to salt maybe a run here or there, but as far as full service, everybody out, all hands on deck pushes, we didn't do anything from December 9th to February 28th. We didn't have to do a full push.
So Steve, in that scenario then for your company, what do you guys do during that time then?
Nothing. We're all, like I said, we all have our other job.
Oh, okay. I see. So I got
spend time with your family that you don't ordinarily get, honestly.
Right.
Do stuff with the kids, take the kids snow tubing up upstate, whatever they want to do basically. Cause that's all gravy time because like Jeremy said it earlier, snow is unforgiving on the family life too. Cause not only are you, okay, well, we're getting snow tonight. So I'm going to be out pre-treating before the shit even starts. And then I'm going to be out for 12 hours minimum pushing. And then I'm going to be so shot the next day, you're not going to see me either because I'm probably going to be sleeping for a full 12 hours. Yeah, so it's not fun. Like my wife she gets wedding invitations or something. Oh, February wedding. Yeah, I can't RSVP yes to this, because chances are you might have something going on. And she knows, just like Jeremy, if my guys are out, I will be out. Like I'll occasionally let them do a salt run without me coming out of the house. But if blades are dropping, I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything I'm not out there with them doing. And,
right. 100%. And to answer that question, Luke, what he was doing those couple months, he was on the phone call with us.
That's it. Yeah.
I remember hearing him on the phone all the time.
Honestly, listen, we were doing the fucking podcast. That's what we did. That's when we kicked it off because I was bored off my ass. And but thank God, because if that was a busy winter, we would have never been able to do it. And honestly, I don't know how, if we get a good steady winter, I don't know how we're going to do it this winter between Fargo fucking pushing every 48 hours.
You got it.
Jeremy's going to have to do it in his pickup.
It was easy to do because all we had to do was plan around Jeremy. because if he wasn't pushing and he had a night, okay, great. Cause I know I'm not doing shit. This fucking winter blows.
Yeah.
But that was the other, to talk about the podcast. If you had told me in last January 31st how much work it was going to become on a daily basis, I probably would not have done it. As great as it is, as great as it's become, it's too big to fail now. We're too big to stop. We couldn't stop if we wanted to. Guys would be looking to kill us, but it's a lot of fucking work. It's how many hours, Jeremy, a day?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean,
it's at least 4 to 5 hours a day on the pod doing podcast shit.
Yep. And but honestly, I wouldn't change it. I've met so many great people with this. And I mean, I got Snapchat guys, and I mean, I love these guys. They're fun to talk to. I love knowing what's going on around the country. And I mean, I don't think I wouldn't change it. I mean,
no, the guys have been the greatest part. Meeting everybody we have.
Best part.
Like, I mean, I don't know anybody. Like I told you guys earlier, like I'm with Luke. I don't like a lot of people. Like I'm pre-designed to hate most people.
You're
I
an
don't,
asshole.
I don't like a lot of people, but everybody we've met has been freaking awesome. Like there's only like maybe 2 guys out of 1,000 that we've met that are dicks. Everybody else love them. They're great, and they've been incredibly fucking loyal and incredibly supportive. And you
name
just
those 2.
What's that?
Yeah,
name those 2 guys.
Which 2?
I say that every time, Luke. You never name them.
I'm not gonna name them on air. They know who they are.
Sorry, James. Sorry, he's called you out like that.
Yeah.
No, James is the man. He just leaves. He leaves early. He didn't go to dinner with us. He bailed on the party the night before to quit. He brought me a children's medium shirt instead of a 2X like I need. That crap, Doyle.
What a
you
guy.
gotta give Steve some apparel, otherwise he gets upset. So
I don't get upset. I don't get upset at all.
Yeah,
no, I see everybody wearing innovative shit except for me, and I'm like, I've never gotten crap, not even a hat from Innovative. So Doyle's on my shit list.
I love Doyle. He's gonna
Doyle's
love
the
this.
best, man. He's the best.
Yeah, he's the man. So
Mr. Doyle.
So Steve, I know you were talking about this year. It's going to be tough through the winter season, keeping the podcast going, but you guys have the top 3% podcast in the world. What are the next steps? Like, what do you guys got going next year, this winter? Like, what are the goals for the Snow Jobs boys?
Retire. Retire. No.
There you go.
Well, we started we wanted to give more back to the guys. The like Jeremy said, the guys have been freaking amazing. Like, I mean, anything we've asked anybody to do, they're like, just say when. What time do you want us there? Like, it's really like a ride or die. A minute's notice. We can have whoever we need to have helping us out. So we wanted to give them more. We wanted to help the industry more because we got a lot of forces. I don't know if most people understand. There's a lot of forces of what I would call evil out there in the snow industry that are trying to take advantage of snow contractors. These national property management companies that are taking 40-50% off the top of these contracts and leaving the contractors with peanuts. They're preying on contractors that don't know their numbers and will take these contracts at freaking pennies on the dollar of what they should be.
Won't jump through other hoops and shit they want to. Yeah,
exactly. We wanted to help guys learn about that stuff because it really is a prey thing. They're preying on people that don't know any better, for lack of a better term. And we're trying to do stuff, so we're giving guys an outlet with the show, but we wanted to do more, so we started the webinar series and the web meetings. So 2 guys came on one night. They had questions about bidding commercial sites, large commercials, because they never did it before. I can't remember the circumstance, but they asked if we could help them with a couple questions. I said, listen, that huge monster mega malls, 70 acres of pavement is not my thing. That's not, I'm like 5-acre sites below, except for the HOAs, which are monsters. But my, commercial lots are, 5 acres or less. But I said, I know guys that do. And that's what we do with the podcast. We'll put you in touch with whoever we need to get you the answers. If I don't know it or Jeremy doesn't know it, we'll take it. So in 20 minutes, I put out a text saying, hey, 2 guys need help. I put it out to guys that do a lot of large commercial stuff. Right. I said, I don't know what they don't know, but let's just do a webinar if we can real quick. Within an hour, we had 26 guys in the room that were willing to help these two guys out and I think it was eye-opening for the both of them. Like, holy shit. Like, I had no idea what I didn't know.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the webinars have been good. The web meetings, whatever we need to do, we'll keep doing those. And I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Jeremy? Take over the world?
No
I
consultants
think
is
so.
what it sounds like. You guys are going to start a consulting company now.
No, we're not. Like, dude, that's a thing. Like, Luke, it's so hard because every market is different. It's so hard for any one thing to fit everybody. Snow is so variable, depending on your geography, depending on your market. So there's no magic bullet that's going to help everybody. The best you can hope for is you put 5 guys in a room and you can take from the other 4 guys that are in that room, you can take 5% of what they're saying they do for their company and their market and make it, apply it to your own and make it work successfully. I think that's the best you can hope for.
You can bring in efficiencies how you do it.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what snow market you're in. It's gonna work. It should work in most snow markets.
Yeah.
If you show these guys some efficiencies that you're doing, that they'll probably, oh yeah, we're not doing that. We should probably try that. And I mean, it'll probably work. I mean, that's how I feel anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of snow belt you live in or whatever. At the end of the day, you're pushing snow. I mean, you're pushing snow, but there are efficiencies you can get out of it. So
yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you hopefully, if they talk to you for 10 minutes, you can take one thing away that helps your efficiency and apply it successfully.
What about costs? Are costs pretty streamlined on the industry as far as like, I think, and prove me if I'm wrong, but I think machinery, everybody is buying from the same machinery companies, right? Obviously there's some different, but you've got your Case, you got your Deere, you got your Cats, you got your Komatsus. That's a fixed price. They're going to be very similar to each other, right? Obviously what you charge based on that machine changes completely different.
There you go. There's what's coming, honestly. The off-brands
we
are
were
going to start
talking about
taking
these
off.
today. Those piqued my interest a little bit.
yeah.
But like same with salt, sidewalk machines, labor, all those costs have got to be pretty similar industry wise. Obviously, I'm sure
No,
not identical, but
I can pay $85 for a yard of salt. Jeremy's paying $175 for that same yard of salt in Fargo.
really, okay.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It's all how close to a port are you? How
It's
close
unbelievable.
to a port are you? How close to a river are you? Trucking is what costs money.
Yeah.
Like, I can get it. I can get it from Albany. I can get it from Jersey. You're talking, they got to truck it maybe 45 minutes to an hour. But if I go pick it up, it's even cheaper than that.
Yeah.
But that same yard of salt is more than double in Fargo.
Wow. Get it out of Minneapolis. It's crazy. What was Billy paying? $50? $50 a yard or something?
Yeah, Billy's a jerk off. $50 a yard. That's cheaper than anybody can get it.
That's like, holy shit. I mean,
Billy.
Jesus.
Billy Moore, we love him. He's awesome. He's another guy. He's another straight shooter, zero filter, will tell you exactly where to go and what to do with it.
Yep.
Need more of those people in this world.
Yeah.
There are.
That's who we're drawn to.
Yeah. We got quite a few in the snow industry that, they don't care. They don't care about the national companies. They don't care. I mean, they'll work with them, but they're not going to bend over for them,
No.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's good to know. Thanks for putting me in my place about cost, because I was like,
I think you're right on the equipment. I think you're right on the equipment. The heavy equipment, the big 4 or 5, they're pretty much all within 10% of each other, and they're all going up astronomically. Not even every year. They're going up, every 3 months now? There's a price increase?
Every quarter. Every quarter, yeah, for sure.
So I think it's an opportunity for companies like XCMG, the Chinese companies, or Yanmar.
Yeah. It's a big opportunity for these guys to jump in the game. I mean, they're running the same shit as the Cat and Deers, and they're running, Cummins engines, Caddy electronics. I mean, how do you not take a shot on that? Unless it's a total hunk of shit. How do you not, for half price of what the same size loader in a Cat or a John Deere will cost you? How do you not take a shot? Half. It's not even it's half. It is literally half.
And the other brand to mention, the other one is Hyundai. We saw them at SIMA. Hyundai is ridiculously good priced, but
Yeah.
their dealer network, I don't think is as expansive as they need to
Right.
be.
I mean, you guys got to try it. I mean, what are you? You're not out here like this XCMG. It's 0%, 0%. Who has 0% nowadays?
Nobody.
Anybody? Nobody. I mean, let's do it. Let's try it. I don't know. It's worth a shot.
Well, there are
Let's order
trying to.
some up
Jordan's got
tomorrow,
one.
Jeremy. I'm in.
I'm
Jordan-
serious.
Jordan bought one.
I'm talking to Jordan bought one. I'm actually talking to this dealer tomorrow, and I might get one myself. So
Nice.
Fuck yeah. Jeremy in the game. I love it. Well, no,
let's do it.
And it's cool that like I would have never heard about loaders like that. So those opportunities that come to you guys, like that's super cool because where do they market? And how would you know, Jeremy, unless you talk to them? Oh, hey, we run Cat Electronics, we run Cummins engines. We have a lot of the same properties as these big time corporations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how we know now is because we have so many, not tentacles, but we have so many avenues of information coming to us. Like you're talking any day, you're 40 to 50 DMs every day. Somebody just asked me tonight, DM me about buying cat loaders from Germany. Somehow they're half the price. I'm like, I know nothing about that. I've never heard of that. But guess what? I know guys I can ask that, I can look into it for you if that's a thing. But I mean, you get questions like that, and you get people that know things about stuff.
We get questions about everything from what kind of lights you use to stakes you use to whatever. And I mean, it's a great avenue. We can ask everybody snow stakes, freaking lights, freaking pushers. It don't matter.
And to go back to your question about the sponsors, Luke, we just took in our latest one was Plow Right Snow Stakes. And again, we stuck to our guns. I didn't know about it when I think Brandon from LADC actually mentioned them. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I've never heard of these things. And he's like, you got to check them out. So people started talking about them, and we asked a couple people, like, oh, they're the greatest things ever. They'll completely replace fiberglass. You'll never use fiberglass snow stakes again. So they reached out, or I don't even remember how it had happened, but we said,
they reached out.
Yeah, we made the deal though that, okay, you got to send us some steaks first so we can try them and check.
Yep.
I'm in love with these freaking things. I just ordered like 400 of them because I'm like, these are incredible. Like they're so easy to put in.
I ordered 1,000 today. I was like, we ran short. I go, give me 1,000 more. I'm like, send them.
Yeah.
They're great. They're awesome. Plow Right Snow Stakes, plowright.com. Check them out. We're not just, like I said, we don't plug anybody that hasn't earned it. That's the thing. We won't plug you. And on the other head of the coin, if you fuck over customers, what are you going to do if we're not saying anything that's not, that's not a fabrication? We call out, manufacturers that are not doing right by their customers and are putting out a shit product.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, isn't that kind of part? That's kind of part of your deal too. If somebody is advertising with you and their product does, like, you guys don't have to say good things about them, right? And that's kind of what you guys do. And you just say like, yeah, this thing fell apart on me, even if they're advertising on your show. It's like, you just got to be honest, like you said.
Yeah. Yep. No, but they're not going to get past the gate if that's a potential.
Yeah.
If that's potential to happen, like, I remember one guy asked me about like the muskox. I'm like, that thing's a freaking tank, man. You won't have to worry about killing unless you hit it with a truck. You're not hurting that thing. And we're not going to accept a sponsor. Like we talk about everything. We're not going to accept a sponsor that's got even a questionable product. If it's not a great product that we can't wholeheartedly say this thing is going to work great for you, it's going to perform when you need it to. And if it does freaking break, it's probably going to be operator error.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's up to that company to make good on it. And everybody that we have had with the show involved, they're going to make good on it. We know these people, we know how they operate, and they're going to do the right thing.
Stand guys. Yeah.
Yep. Fuck yeah. Well, it's fun to like hear your guys' input too on like just the podcast industry as a whole, and then obviously related to snow and the avenues it brings you. And like you said, Steve, the marketing that comes with it. Thing is, today's world is no longer print. It's all digital. Luke, obviously you can attest to that too. It's very cool, and it's fun to see your guys' success.
Well, you know what?
Mm.
It's I don't know how good we actually are versus we're a very niche podcast in a
Yep.
niche industry that has no outlets for advertising at all. There's
Yep.
like what, two
Right.
print magazines, and they're owned
Yeah.
by the associations, so they have
Yep.
their association affiliations with manufacturers. So if
Right.
you're an off brand, you're either paying 10 times more to get your ad in there, or they're not allowing it, period. So where do these small companies like Muskox or Hilltip that are building these superior products, but just haven't really exploded in the market yet, and they're not mainstream in one of the big 4 companies out there, how are they supposed to get exposure? There's no outlet for advertising. Enter the snow jobs, you know, and we just hit it right. I don't, like I said, I don't know that we're that good at what we do, but it's
We're fucking good.
oh, here we go.
It's the
Yeah,
best.
we're kind of amazing.
I mean, but at the end of the day, though, it doesn't matter how fancy it is. It's just, can you build trust with your audience? And every single business, the most expensive thing they can pay for right now is people's attention. And if you have somebody's attention, that is what they're going to pay for. That's how Google makes money. That's how Facebook makes money. That's how these podcasts make money. And it's not a bad thing to make money. And it's just, like you said, it is an avenue for this company like Muskox to reach their audience, and making sure that that is, the right fit. So, hats off to you guys for starting the podcast, crushing it, because you guys are pumping out episodes, and that's not easy. Luke and I crank out 2 episodes a month, sometimes 3, and that's a lot on us, but it's fun. We love it. We love having drinks, like learning a ton. I'm sure you guys have learned so much just doing
from
this
everyone
this
Yep.
year. And, it's cool to see, you get to build that camaraderie with everyone, like Snow Jobs Nation, and just like keep that ball rolling. So, hats off to you guys for doing it, but then keeping it going too. I feel like the consistency is the hardest part, and you guys are, blowing it out of the water.
You have to be
We're
consistent.
we're trying. I mean, the main thing is everybody's got to have an open mind. I mean, you got to be able. A lot of guys have. Excuse me. A lot of guys in the industry are not a lot, but old school. We've done it this way forever. That's the only way we're gonna do it. You got to be open minded and be able to listen to new stuff that's going on, new apps, new whatever. It's just trying to make everybody more efficient and make the industry better. So if guys just have an open mind, I think we can. The sky's the limit here. We can just keep growing everything. So
Yeah, and it's a generational thing too. Like podcasting, I'm 47, Jeremy's 47. It's a generational thing that podcasts are not for us. Like I never listened to a podcast before I did one. Before we did our first episode, I didn't even know how to listen to our first episode. So I mean that was pretty funny. I had to get tips on that. But when we first started, I'd say the first 3 or 4 months, our demographics on our analytics, everybody listening to us was between 18 and 35. But now we're like 50-50 between the 18 and 35 and the 35 to 55. So like the older guys have come.
Good.
But it started with the younger guys, because a podcast is a younger, that's a younger dude thing.
Yep.
The older guys, they had to get their kid to set up the apps for them so they could listen. So it took a while.
No, it's just a new way of learning. I remember my grandma was always like, Luke, show me how to use my phone. I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't know how to use this damn thing? All relative.
100%. It's true.
Yeah.
This is your educational outlet now. And that's what we're trying to do. That's why we have the Jordan Smiths come on. That's why we have everybody come on, because everybody's bringing something to the table. You can learn something from everybody we have on the show.
Yeah.
Look at our website. It's terrible. Right, Luke?
I'm not going to say anything about it, but
yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You can say anything.
Fucking free.
No, not the snow jobs.
I was gonna say it's fucking free. I think it's pretty good for free.
No, you just baited me into that. But no, Luke,
I
think this is a podcast.
I think it's a podcast, guys. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for just, the overall knowledge that you guys bring through, your experiences with the podcast, how to reach people. And believe it or not, what you guys talked about, a lot of people can probably take and just use in their own businesses as well. Like you said, Steve, becoming more approachable, having those conversations with people, putting yourself outside of that comfort zone. So, thank you guys again. But yeah,
No problem.
Yeah,
Thanks
it
for
was
having
great.
us.
Love you guys, and you guys have
A lot
a
of
great
fun.
podcast. Yeah, you guys
are crushing it. We like to give you shit because you give it to us, but no, you guys are awesome.
I think we gotta keep doing this at least once or twice a year between
Yeah, the
us. It's just,
crossovers.
yeah,
we
the
can do
crossover. Like a lot of guys in our that listen to us, they're listening to you guys too as well. So I mean,
Yeah.
we've heard a lot of that. So
Yeah, we keep hearing that. Your podcast comes on exactly after ours ends. So that's what I keep hearing.
That's
Oh, at least it's there.
perfect. Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, that's good. Hell yeah.
You guys are the best, though. We love you. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
having us on.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
was
so
great.
much.